I noticed I was late. Found my coat.
I wonder how many brain cells I destroyed this weekend. I should have a nice soft job where I could sleep till noon, but no, I wanted the active life of a reporter. Oh, well, just grin and bear another Monday. Good morning, Donna. What's happening?
Nothing. How are you?
Any messages or,
No messages for you, but Roger wants to see you in his office right away.
Okay, thanks a lot.
You're welcome.
Hey, Raj, how you doing?
Oh, hi, Jack. What's going on? What I want you to do is give people a tour of the station. Let people see what our building looks like inside and what all the people are like. Kind of along the lines of, well, let's see, I've got a history of the station here.
That'll help me out.
And this can tell you something about, how our building's expanded over the years. Oh, and I've got some pictures, too. Here's a picture of Peter Stoner, one of our announcers way back when.
Look at that old news set.
Right. That's from probably somewhere in the 60s. And this is our original building when we first went on the air. So I think these are a couple of things you might be able to use. You go down the hallway and interview some of the people here and, let people know what we do here and who we are and what the building's like.
Okay, yeah, that sounds pretty interesting. This should all help out pretty well. I'll get on it.
Okay, good.
Thanks a lot. WLEX TV became the first TV station in central Kentucky when it commenced operation in March of 1955, while I was just a twinkling in the eyes of my folks. Well, first full-color station in Kentucky, first UHF all-color station in the nation, first to regularly schedule an educational program, and first with state-of-the-art ENG equipment in town. It's a lot of history, but pretty cut and dry. I really need to talk to some people. Hey, Dave, I hate to interrupt a busy man hard at work here, but I got a project.
I think he's over there.
My project is to do kind of a tour of the station, history of the station, and since I'm kind of new at this game, I don't really know too much about how operating with film must have been like before we have this switcher, etc. You got any horror stories I can tell?
Well, looking back on it, of course, at the time we didn't think a whole lot about it. We just adapted to it and went on about our business. But looking back on it and comparing it with how things are now, every aspect of using film is somewhat incredible compared with ENG. First of all, the time that's involved after shooting a story. The film then, of course, has to be brought back and processed, which is a procedure that would take anywhere from half an hour to an hour. After which it had to be edited, of course, as does tape, although it had to be edited physically, which meant going through and looking at all of the film and physically cutting it apart and then physically putting it all back together again. And you can imagine if you cover a story at 3:30 in the afternoon and hope to get it on at 5:30 or 6 in the evening, you're already talking about at least an hour and a half just to process and edit the film. There were several occasions that I can recall in shooting film, and when you shoot film, you don't know for sure that you've actually shot anything. You don't know until you brought it back and processed it and looked at it whether or not something went wrong. You have the advantage, of course, with ENG of being able to immediately look at it on a tape machine and see what's there. We shot our own film. We went out in teams of 2 reporters and carry all of the equipment, and one reporter would be a photographer on one story, and the other reporter would then be a photographer. It is a great blessing with ENG, since most of us average reporter types aren't really qualified to operate the equipment, that we have photographers who handle the actual chores of shooting, and that frees us, of course, to hopefully to be able to think about what's going on and to ask intelligent questions and so forth.
Yes. I could probably get some modern-day war stories from 27, but I guess we shouldn't go into that.
You're welcome to try.
Anyway, I'll get back to you. Don't call us, we'll call you, etc. See you later.
So,
Yeah. Okay. Hey, Rodney, what's going on? You working hard?
Yeah.
Always. I got to do a kind of history of the station for the premiere party. I'm just going through talking to people. This is This soundboard's about the only thing new in the control room. What can you tell me about it?
Let's see, Jack is very efficient. It has these slide mount controls, which helps you to control the volumes, you know, and it has 64 mic input capacity. It also has the built-in equalization, which balances sound out. And the sub banks 1 through 4, you can have any one of the sources going at the same time, such as your network, reel-to-reel, which is reel-to-reel 1 and 2. And you can have also both projectors going at the same time, as well as your carts.
64
And,
inputs.
Yeah.
We could probably have
64
the
mics.
Mormon Tabernacle Choir in
Right,
here.
any
Sound
kind of
good.
orchestra. You could really have a good time with this board. Also has A through D sub banks, and like I said, you can have any sources, and one number of sources going at the same time. And also with these on and off buttons, would just punching. You can,
Makes the mic switch a lot easier.
right.
Yeah. Okay, well,
So
let's,
it's pretty efficient.
yeah. I'll get back to you when I need to talk to you.
Okay, Jen.
Thanks a lot.
Take it easy.
Ed, I got a project I think you can help me with. I'm researching the history of the station for the fall premiere party, and I don't know anything about the computer, and I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit about it, how old it is, what kind of tasks it handles, that kind of thing.
10 years ago, we got the pieces of equipment you see over here, which is a printer, a reader, a punch, and the central processing unit. 2 years ago, we found that was inadequate to serve our needs, so we acquired these disk packs over here, which allow us to operate with larger quantities of data more efficiently and faster, eliminate some of the manual processes that used to require a great deal of time, like hard sorting. Now the sort occurs right there.
Now, what does this take care of all the financial...
This does our payroll for us, of course, the most important programs we have, and the general accounting programs, printing the ledger, the financial statements, the various reports needed, accounts receivable, accounts payable. In terms of doing our programming, we do our avails here. That's what we're doing right now, printing the number of spots available to be sold. We do our logs.
How does that...
Well, as a matter of fact, I'm doing some right now. Okay. So here I'm working on the log for next Monday. Okay, you see it's a set of cards. Each card has certain information corresponding to the spot to be run, a commercial, a PSA, or the program to be run. There's a count number, the product description, the program description, the length of time, the beginning date and the start date. This is the range or the flight date for each spot that it's going to run. The scheduled time that it's going to run during the day, whether it's a slide, a film, or whatever the origin of the audio and the visual is, and the cost of the spot, which these cards will eventually go into the revenue and the billing programs later in the month. Okay, so here a dummy log. We have 3 logs. A dummy log, which kind of is just a rough draft that goes to traffic and they make corrections to it. Then we do a semi-log, which is more precise, and then finally a final log, of which we do 8 copies that are distributed to the various departments for the day's programming.
How do people keep up with all this stuff before they came with computers?
Well, in a manual system with good people, you could do it. It was very bulky. You had very little chance for error. You know, if someone was sick, it was very critical. Now we have a little better coverage. You know, you can pick up the slack if someone's missing. It works a lot better now, I think.
Okay. I'll get back to you. Thanks.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Jack.
Well, I've just got to get organized on this. I mean, how do you go about writing a tour of the station? It's not like a news assignment where you're just reporting what has happened. There's so much to see. I guess I could go through and show things like our control room or the newly installed news set. Maybe I could go into the traffic office where those 3 lovely ladies keep all the spots running smoothly. Or maybe a salesman's office and show one of the people who bring in the bucks to keep things running smoothly. Just let them meet people like Harry Barfield, a guiding force of WLEX since its inception. Really, I need to give people a glimpse of our people, who make Channel 18 the place it is. But it's no way for folks to get a real feel for the operation. Maybe this should just serve as an invitation for everyone to come out, meet us, and really discover why we are.